Today, we're going to learn all about how you can use order bumps to increase your average order value so you can scale your online offers to the moon. Let's go. So welcome back to Happy Scaling. I'm Thomas McMahon. If you don't know much about me, I've got, almost a decade now of internet marketing experience. I've helped people scale, hundreds of millions of dollars in online sales, a lot with affiliate marketing, direct response marketing. And a big part of that is making the offer better, making the product better so it actually converts better, pays out higher, all that kind of good stuff. A big part of that is order bumps. How can you use an order bump on your offer to increase the average order value so you're getting more money with every customer coming in, and so you can pay more to acquire customers on the top end? These order bumps are different than upsells if you watch that video. An upsell is a unique offer shown after the order form, and you usually can charge quite a bit more. You can do a lot more selling on those. An order bump is literally on the order form, and there's not much text usually done with an order bump, which means that the amount of selling you can do is minimal, which kind of forces you to make a certain type of product. A good order bump product is inherently tied to the product being sold on the front end. And where an upsell might be completely new or very complementary, but it's like a very different product in itself, an order bump is going to directly match what you're selling on the front end. And it's something that should be very easy to say yes to for a customer. Again, because you don't have much room on the order form to sell, because you still want to close the initial sale. You don't want the order bump to take away from that. It should just be like, oh yeah, I want that. Think about when you go to your grocery store. You're walking down the aisles and you're about to check out. And you see a bunch of Tic Tacs and Mentos and little candies and all kinds of things and magazines in that checkout aisle. To me, those are order bumps. Those are little things like little passive things, or like most of them are like max out at like maybe $5 for the highest ticket item in that little grocery aisle. And so like, oh yeah, I need some mints, right? It's a little like, I want that too. That's what your order bump should be. So think about how you can add that on to your initial product. Let's use a common example in the online space with ebooks, right? So you've got a $37 ebook. That's a common price point that, I kind of see in my direct response marketing world, but, kind of scale these prices down as you need to. A very good order bump with a digital ebook might be an audio version, right? Like something they can download and start listening to right away. Because it's like, hey, you can get your ebook, you can get the physical book, but if you want the audio version, click check here, and we're going to add it for, let's say, $19. I'm not just pulling this, right? I've actually seen this on a very well-scaled offer. I was struggling with just a $37 front end. They had some upsells. They added a $19 audio book in, and things really changed for them in a unique way. So let's say you've got that $37 ebook, okay? And you've got the $19 order bump that some customers can take. The max price from that front end is now $6, right? $56 on a $37 front end price before any upsells. So now you've just increased the potential. Now, just not every customer is going to take an order bump. Let's say 40% of customers take the order bump, a pretty good take rate, right? If 40% of the customers take that order bump, what you've essentially done is increase the average order value by $7.60. Or put another way, you've increased your average order value by 17%, which is a pretty healthy number. Increasing your AOV by 17% is great, because you've got $37 plus $7.60 from that 40% take rate of $19 equals an AOV of $44.70 now. So you've got $44.70, $7 more roughly than what you initially had before. That means you can spend 17% more to now acquire that customer without going negative. Again, assuming digital books, and there's not much overhead on those, right? So that's a very good spot to be, especially if you've got upsells now taking that $44 front end price instead of a $37 price and increasing that to maybe, let's say, $50, $60, $70 now. So now you're getting to a really good spot if you're using that order bump in a smart way. But what should you price your order bumps in general? That $19 price on that $37 example is done tactically. It's from a real example I've seen work well, but it's roughly 50% of the initial price point, right? $19 versus $37. And that's about the max I've seen order bumps work well. Okay, I've seen some work higher, it's rare. And if you go too low on order bump price, you're really not doing much to move the needle on average order value. So I would like to see things between 15 and 50% of the initial product price being the order bump option. Because the key here is that you want it, again, to be easy to say yes to. It's like, oh, if I want to spend $37, I can start listening to the ebook and read along right away, right? So it's like, what can you do that's an immediate value add to that initial product and make it very easy to say yes to thing. The higher your front end price goes, that percentage might go down, right? So it's like $100, a $25 bump might make a lot of sense, which is 25% versus 50. But these are all things that you need to test, right? And then you want to test what the product is, what the price is, kind of the verbiage on the order form. And a big thing that you want to be testing is if you have an existing AOV with upsells, you want to be making sure you're watching what that AOV number is, because what I've seen people do is add in an order bump, test that to the max, get really good conversion and take rates on the order bump. Their initial front end cost has gone up, but their overall average order value has stayed stagnant because they've cannibalized their upsells. And usually that's because it's a bad product fit in the order bump. They're kind of taking an upsell product, putting it into an order bump, and now they've cannibalized the rest of their flow, which isn't a bad thing because you're getting more of that average order value on the front end, but they haven't really made much ground as far as customer acquisition or profit goes overall. And now they need to go back and retool their upsell flow, which doesn't mean don't do order bumps. It just means be mindful of what type of product you're putting in, how it slots into the rest of your product suite. And a big question I get is like, is this even worth it? It seems like a lot of work to make a smaller price product and things like that. And the answer is almost yes to me, right? Almost always yes. Because it's an effort you're going to make once. It might be a big effort, but you now have this product that you can use ad infinitum, right? Pat Flynn, I was listening to a podcast of his recently, and he was telling a story about how he started with his first product, how he added an order bump to it. It was an audio version of his, I think it was architecture training kind of course. And he spent a lot more money than he really had, kind of his profit margin, if you look at that. And it was kind of a big investment for him up front. But that single order bump product increased the conversions, increased the average order value, and then it turned into a standalone product too that people could get for existing buyers, past buyers, and then just front end buyers. And that single audiobook version turned into, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales to him on like a $2,000 or $3,000 investment. So you can just see how this adds another arrow in your quiver for the offer and how you can leverage that to really scale offers in a big way. So if you've got any questions about order bumps, leave them in the comments below. We've written up a great blog post for you, which has a bunch of other ideas on increasing AOV. That will be in a link in the description below to my blog. And cheers. Happy scaling. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.